Why the rich keep getting richer, and why you're not. Philosophy Edition. Ever notice how the ultra-wealthy seem to be playing a completely different game with money? I mean, we're all hustling, working hard, doing our thing. But they're over there breaking all the rules we thought we had to follow. And here's the thing, it's not just about grinding harder or having better connections. It's about something much deeper, how they think about money in the first place. What if I told you that the secret isn't in some guru's $2,000 masterclass, but in philosophies that have been around for thousands of years? Yeah, I know what you're thinking, philosophy? I thought this was a money and mindset channel. Stay with me till the end here because there's something here you need to hear. But before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe for more philosophy-based practical insights on mindset, wealth building, and personal development. The ancient thinkers like Plato, Seneca, and Confucius understood human nature and wealth in ways that modern financial experts are just recycling without giving proper credit. I promise you, the next 15 minutes might completely transform how you look at your bank account, your career, and your entire financial future. Let's get into it. Money is a tool, not a goal. Let's start with probably the biggest mindset shift. For most of us, money is the end game, right? We want more of it, period. But for the truly wealthy, money is just a tool, a means to an end, not the prize itself. This isn't just some feel-good motivational talk. This distinction changes everything about how decisions get made. Take Elon Musk, love him or hate him. When he sold PayPal back in 2002, he walked away with about $180 million. Now, what would most people do with that kind of windfall? Retire? Buy islands? Live the dream? Not Elon. He turned around and poured almost his entire fortune into two incredibly risky ventures, SpaceX and Tesla. People thought he was absolutely insane. But why did he do it? Because to him, that money wasn't the end game. It was rocket fuel, literally in SpaceX's case, to pursue bigger visions that actually mattered to him. He wasn't attached to the money, he was committed to what it could build. Aristotle had this idea of final causes, that everything aims at some ultimate good. He'd probably look at most of us and say we're confused about money's purpose. We've made the tool the target. It's like being so obsessed with collecting hammers that you forget they're meant to build houses. The wealthy know better, they keep their eyes on what actually matters. So here's your first philosophical money shift: stop worshipping money. Start mastering it instead. Ask yourself, if money is just a tool, what are you actually trying to build with it? Freedom? Impact? Security for your family? When you get clear on that, you'll start making completely different decisions. And ironically, you'll probably end up with more money as a result. Wealth is built through leverage. Next big distinction: average earners trade time for money in a straight line. 1 hour, 1 paycheck. The wealthy? They use leverage. They find ways to multiply their efforts through systems, people, and capital. This is how someone can make $10,000 while sleeping, while someone else makes $15 an hour while breaking their back. Look at Oprah Winfrey's journey. She didn't just become a better talk show host year after year, though she definitely did that too. What made her a billionaire was understanding leverage. She built a production company, created a magazine, launched a network, started a book club that could make any title an instant bestseller, licensed her brand and image. She went from trading her time for a salary to creating systems that generated wealth whether she was physically present or not. That's leverage. And here's the kicker: she didn't start with any of those advantages. She was born into poverty in rural Mississippi. The leverage mindset is what made all the difference. Seneca, who was actually one of Rome's wealthiest individuals, not just a philosopher, wrote something brilliant: wealth is the slave of a wise man, the master of a fool. What did he mean by that? The wise person puts their money to work. The fool works for money until the day they die. One is building a legacy, the other is just paying bills. So ask yourself, what could you create that works when you don't? A product? A system? A team? An investment portfolio? A piece of content that generates value for years? This doesn't mean you need to start a business tomorrow, though maybe you should. It means shifting from how can I earn more? To how can I build something that earns for me? That single question separates employees from entrepreneurs, consumers from creators, and the working class from the wealthy class. Delayed gratification creates generational wealth. We live in a world of instant everything. Same-day delivery. Streaming on demand. Buy now, pay later. But the wealthy operate on a completely different timeline. While everyone else optimizes for this month, they optimize for this decade, or even this century. Take Jeff Bezos. He started Amazon in his garage back in 1994, selling books online when most people barely knew what the internet was. For years, not days, not months, but years, Amazon didn't turn a meaningful profit. Wall Street analysts thought Bezos was out of his mind. When are you going to actually make money? They kept asking. His response? He kept reinvesting everything back into the business, expanding into new categories, building infrastructure, thinking decades ahead while everyone else thought quarters ahead. The result? One of the most valuable companies on earth and generational wealth that will outlive all of us. Confucius said, "The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones." That's exactly how wealth building works. It's not about get-rich-quick schemes or lottery tickets. It's about consistency, patience, and the wisdom to trade short-term pleasures for long-term power. Most people never get rich for one simple reason: they can't defer gratification. They want the nice car now, even if it means sacrificing the real estate portfolio later. The wealthy flip this equation. They choose temporary discomfort for permanent abundance. They plant trees they'll never sit under. Can you make that same choice? Can you say no to something good today for something great tomorrow? If you can, you're already thinking like the rich. Mindset is the real currency. Here's where it gets really interesting. Give $1 million to someone with a poverty mindset, and they'll find a way to lose it. Give $1,000 to someone with a wealth mindset, and they'll find a way to multiply it. The real currency isn't in your wallet or your bank account. It's between your ears. We've all heard the sad stories about lottery winners, right? Something like 70% of major lottery winners end up broke within 3 to 5 years. Some even worse off than before they won. All that money, gone. Then look at someone like Damon John of Fubu and Shark Tank fame. He started with zero advantages, literally sewing hats in his mother's house in Queens, working at Red Lobster to make ends meet. No inheritance. No fancy education. No connections. Just a different mindset about what was possible. That mindset turned a small operation into a global brand worth hundreds of millions. Marcus Aurelius, who wasn't just a philosopher but also the emperor of Rome, wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The wealthy realize this truth deeply. They know that external circumstances matter far less than internal mindsets. That's why they invest so heavily in their thinking, through books, mentors, experiences, and education. The most valuable asset you have isn't your house, your car, or even your education. It's your mindset, how you think about money, opportunity, and value. Upgrade that, and everything else upgrades automatically. Neglect it, and no amount of external resources will ever be enough. Start treating your money mindset like a mission-critical asset, because that's exactly what it is. Rich people buy freedom, not stuff. Here's maybe the most counterintuitive truth: most people are trying to look rich. Actually, rich people are trying to be free. There's a massive difference between having expensive things and having an expansive life. Consider Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, who's now one of the biggest creators on the planet. When he first started making real money from YouTube, instead of buying luxury cars and designer clothes, what did he do? He reinvested almost everything back into his videos, his team, his equipment. He lived modestly while building an empire. Why? Because he understood that true wealth isn't about flashing cash, it's about creating freedom. Freedom to pursue your vision. Freedom to control your time. Freedom to make an impact. Now he has a business reportedly worth billions, and he can do practically anything he wants, anywhere, anytime. That's not just being rich, that's being free. Socrates, walking through the marketplace of Athens, supposedly remarked, "How many things there are which I do not need." Later philosophers summarize this as, "He is richest who is content with the least." The wealthy don't need to show off because they're not seeking validation, they're seeking liberation. They'd rather have control of their time than a garage full of depreciating status symbols. Now ask yourself, are you buying things to impress others, or are you investing in assets that create more freedom? Are you trying to look successful, or actually build success? The next time you're about to make a purchase, ask yourself, is this bringing me closer to freedom or just temporary status? Your answer will tell you whether you're thinking like the wealthy or like those who will always remain broke. We're taught the wrong game. So why don't more people understand these principles? Because we're literally trained to think the opposite way, from kindergarten all the way through adulthood. The education system teaches us to be good employees, not visionary entrepreneurs. Media teaches us to be good consumers, not strategic investors. Social platforms teach us to seek validation, not long-term value. We're playing a game designed to keep us financially mediocre, trading time for money, living paycheck to paycheck, buying things we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even like. But here's the secret, the wealthy aren't playing that game at all. They're playing an entirely different one with different rules, different scorecards, and different rewards. And now? You know those rules too. You have the blueprint now. Look, I'm not saying any of this is easy. If it were, everyone would be wealthy. But at least now you understand what's really going on behind the curtain. You've seen that building wealth isn't magical or mysterious, it's philosophical. It's about how you think, how you prioritize, how you approach the entire concept of money and value. Let's recap what you've learned. Money isn't the goal, it's the tool you use to build what actually matters. Wealth comes from leverage, creating systems that work when you don't. Patience and delayed gratification are how empires are built. Your mindset about money determines your results more than any external factor. True wealth is measured in freedom, not possessions. This isn't just theory. This isn't just philosophy. This is how real, sustainable, generational wealth has been built throughout human history. And the beautiful thing? These principles work regardless of your background, education, or current financial situation. They're universal. What this means for you. You know, when most people think of philosophy, they picture dusty old books and academic debates that have nothing to do with real life. But the truth is, philosophy is intensely practical. It's about how to think clearly, how to live well, how to create meaning and value in a confusing world. And as we've seen today, it's also about how to build wealth that matters. You don't have to be born into money. You don't need special connections. You don't even need a revolutionary idea. What you need is a philosophy, a way of thinking about money that aligns with how wealth actually works, not how most people think it works. And now, you have exactly that. If you found this video helpful and want to dive deeper into applying these principles to your financial life, click that link in the description. Click it now, because just like compound interest, the sooner you start applying these principles, the more dramatic your results will be. Also, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and check out the next video popping up on your screen. It dives even deeper into the mindset shifts that separate financial success from financial struggle. This is Money, Mindset, and Meaning, and I'll see you in the next one.